Hello. Today we will talk about camels. Many people envision camels as large animals that eat thorns and can spit. But in reality, they are much more interesting. Why do camels live in the desert? Why do they have humps? And why do some have one while others have two? Where else can they inhabit? Let's explore all these questions and learn a lot about these amazing animals. The history of camels is fascinating. Their distant ancestors appeared about 45 million years ago, but not in hot deserts. They originated in North America. These ancient animals, known as protoceratops, were small with long legs, resembling modern llamas. Gradually, camels evolved, adapting to different conditions. About 3 million years ago, they began to migrate. Some reached South America, giving rise to guanacos and vicuñas, the ancestors of modern llamas and alpacas, while others crossed the Bering Land Bridge into Asia and spread across the Middle East and Africa, becoming true desert travelers. Approximately 10,000 years ago, camels disappeared from America but survived in Asia and Africa, where they were domesticated. Evolution made them masters of survival. They can go without water for weeks and travel through the relentless deserts. Now, the main question, why do some camels have one hump while others have two? Dromedaries, the one-humped camels, evolved in Africa and the Middle East, where there are no cold winters. They need one large fat reserve for efficiency in the heat. Bactrian camels, on the other hand, live in Central Asia, where winters are harsh and summers are hot. Two humps help them store more fat for survival amid temperature fluctuations. Now let's talk about camels in Australia. Did you know that Australia has the largest population of wild camels in the world? It all began in the 19th century when European colonists decided to explore the arid regions of Australia. Horses and cattle struggled with the heat and lack of water, so camels were brought from India, Afghanistan, and the Middle East. About 20,000 camels were introduced. When automobiles and railroads arrived in Australia, camels were no longer needed and were released into the wild. Since there are no predators in Australia, the camel population began to grow rapidly. Today, over 1 million wild camels live in the Australian desert. They have adapted perfectly to the harsh climate and can walk up to 70 kilometers a day in search of food. Australian farmers are not thrilled with these neighbors, as camels can eat vegetation and spoil water sources. However, scientists consider wild camels a living legacy of Australia's history, reminding us of the times when people explored this continent using caravans. Thus, camels, which were not originally inhabitants of Australia, became the masters of the desert. Why do camels have humps? Many believe they store water in them, but that's not the case. In fact, a hump is a fat reserve that helps camels survive during droughts and food shortages. When an animal goes a long time without food, its body begins to consume the fat from the hump, turning it into energy and even a bit of water. This allows camels to go without food and water for weeks. Dromedaries inhabit the hot deserts of Africa and the Middle East. One large hump serves as their fuel tank, allowing them to cover vast distances under the scorching sun. Bactrian camels live in Central Asia, where the climate is extremely harsh, hot in summer and freezing in winter. Two humps help them accumulate more fat for survival amid temperature variations. Interestingly, the ancestors of camels did not have humps at all. Ancient camels living in North America resembled antelopes. However, millions of years of evolution and life in extreme conditions turned them into true survival masters. Thus, a hump is not just a feature of appearance, it is a unique tool that enabled camels to become the ships of the desert. How do camels breathe, and what is the purpose of their unique nose? Camels have long, wide noses that help them not only breathe but also survive in desert conditions. Their nasal passages have a complex structure that allows them to efficiently filter and warm the air they inhale. When a camel breathes, the air passes through special partitions that trap dust and sand, preventing them from entering the lungs. This is especially important in the desert, where the wind raises many particles. Camels have receptors in their noses that help humidify and warm the air before it enters the lungs, allowing them to breathe even in the hottest conditions without losing moisture. Camels can also close their nostrils. When faced with strong sandstorms or in hot conditions, they can shut their nostrils to prevent sand from entering and to conserve water. This helps them continue to breathe even in unfavorable conditions. Thus, the camel's nose is not just an organ of respiration, but a complex system that enables survival in extreme desert conditions, protecting against sand and preserving moisture. It's amazing how nature has created such resilient creatures. A camel's body temperature can range from 34 to 41 degrees Celsius, allowing them to maintain a stable temperature even in intense heat. Camels can withstand temperature fluctuations, helping them avoid overheating when the surrounding temperature rises to 50 degrees or higher. When the temperature rises, camels begin to alter their thermoregulation. During the day, they can retain heat within their bodies to prevent overheating. This allows them to remain active even during the hottest hours. Camels heat up during the day and release heat back into the environment in the evening when temperatures drop, helping them not lose water. Interestingly, camels can lose up to 25% of their body mass due to water loss without it being harmful to their health. They can lower their body temperature, which also helps conserve moisture. Therefore, even in extreme heat, camels can go without water for several days. Camels possess a unique ability to regulate their body temperature, making them ideal inhabitants of the desert. They are true survival masters, capable of adapting to the most extreme conditions. Water and camels. How much do they drink, and how do they conserve moisture? Camels are known for their ability to survive in the hot desert, but how much water do they actually drink? They can consume up to 100 liters of water at once, but they don't do this every day. These animals can go without water for up to a week, or even longer, depending on conditions. When they have access to water, they can quickly replenish their reserves. Camels also obtain moisture from the plants they eat, which is particularly important in desert conditions. The walking style of camels. How do they move through the desert, and how far can they travel in their lifetime? Camels have a unique walking style called the camel gait, which provides them stability on sandy dunes and uneven terrain. They can cover up to 40 kilometers a day in search of food and water. Over their lifetime, a camel can walk more than 160,000 kilometers, comparable to 4 circumnavigations of the globe. Camels often move in caravans, allowing them to share resources. Their abilities and unique gait make them indispensable helpers for people in desert conditions. In conclusion, camels are amazing animals with unique abilities and adaptations that help them survive in the harsh conditions of the desert. Their history, morphology, and behavior make them true masterpieces of nature. I hope you found it interesting to learn more about camels.